In the frame of the Swirl project, we've analyzed the links between slashers, contingent work, and digital platforms. Here, we're going to focus on subjective experience of slashers that work or not through platforms. It is quite difficult to find people available for interviews, yet on camera. So our colleague Professor Meal offered to present a few cases of slashers in Germany who also work on platforms.
If they were on platforms, it was almost always as a second thing. Didn't get any delivery workers because they said that they weren't slash workers. They were either students or migrants, and then they did delivery. One of them was this woman who originally was from Argentina, didn't speak German, and was having a very difficult time getting any kind of foothold into the labor market. And she went on Helpling and started doing cleaning, and also got a job working in a restaurant. And then there was another woman who had wanted to return to the labor market after her children got older, and was also on Helpling doing low-skilled tasks, trying to make an income again. And there was also the issue of region, because people who live in remote regions also use the platforms as an access to the labor market, because it was just much more difficult to look for a job than if they had been in a larger city like Munich or Berlin or something like that. Other people who want to top up their income a little bit, people who have regular jobs, who want to use the extra money for vacations or Christmas presents or things like that. And then there are the people who are doing it really out of trying to introduce themselves into a labor market of being able to do something they've always wanted to do. We had one case where a woman had a PhD in biology and had been doing some teaching, but she had actually always wanted to be an illustrator. On a German website, on a German platform site called Mach du das, she got the opportunity to try to get some projects as an illustrator, and then created a client base for herself, and is now pursuing this sort of dream job that she always wanted to do. She still does the other one, but she also was able to do this on the platforms. One of the women who is actually Spanish and is 32 years old and has lived in Munich for 7 years and works as a regular translator in a regular job, absolutely wanted to also pursue working on platforms in her free time. And she has different types of platform activities, most having to do with her occupation, which is being a translator. But the one where she was doing the click work was the one in a way where she felt that she had the most autonomy, and the one that she liked the best, because she could say, I'm not going to take that task. She had the choice, which she obviously doesn't have in a regular job. They were very short-term tasks, so she could do it, on a Friday evening and things like that. So she felt actually, in a funny way, that gave her more autonomy. It was one of her most autonomous activities. It's very hard to make money at the beginning. And so if it's the only way you're depending on your income, it can be very difficult. And that you're also competing with a lot of people who may not really be dependent on the income. So for instance, if you're working in a sector that has to do, for instance, with translating, or in this case, bookkeeping, easy bookkeeping jobs, he was competing with students and people who really only needed a little extra income for dumping, what he called dumping wages, quite a long time until he could build up his own client base and he could have a more secure income on the platform. Some of these people work unbelievably long hours and see it as a completely normal situation. They'll say, oh, I work 50 hours a week. I work 35 hours in my regular job, and then since I have free time on Fridays and Saturdays, and in the evenings, I do some click work. And so they don't really see it as strange that they'll work 10 hours a day and 2 hours on the weekends. It's just part of their life.
But not all slashers are platform workers, like Vasco from Bulgaria.
I graduated in a university for an accountant, and it's very easy to work like this in a financial area. I have two jobs. I actually my second job as a mountain guide. This is the job of my heart and my soul. So, but from practical perspective, doing this job here in Bulgaria, it's very tough to pay your monthly bills, and the added value is that for some time of the year I'm doing my preferred job, to be a mountain guide. The downside is the lack of free time for my family.
More information on www.swirlproject.eu.